This is ABC15 Mornings.
Winter storms impacting the delivery of vaccines.
We have an accumulating backlog of vaccines that need to be boxed and shipped.
Almost every state experiencing the effects.
We're doing everything we can to track those doses or to try to find additional doses, but we're not alone.
Looking toward the future of travel.
Get your results in 15 minutes and be able to continue on your way.
New this morning, a different kind of passport.
The state assessment is literally a snapshot in time. It's a high-stakes, once-a-year test.
AZ Merit, is there a safe and effective way to get students to take the yearly tests?
I'm not afraid of it. I think some people are afraid of it. I definitely am not one of those people. In fact, I kind of see it as a challenge that I want to be a part of.
Stepping up to make a difference. More people now choosing a nursing career.
It's so difficult that only one country has been successful in landing the rover so far, and that's the United States.
And a proud moment for everyone as the quest for life on Mars now begins. Time is now 6 o'clock on your Friday morning. We appreciate you waking up with us here. I'm Allison Rodriguez in for Kaylee O'Kelly alongside Nick Saletti. Nick, TGIF.
That's right, TGIF, you made it through another week. The weekend is upon us. A lot of news to get to as always, but first we got to talk about that weather and the most accurate forecast. Meteorologist Iris Hermosillo standing by patiently awaiting her turn to give us the news. Definitely chilly this morning, Iris, on that dog walk, I got to tell you.
Yeah, I know. It was a little cold, right? And a lot of neighborhoods are waking up to temperatures in the 30s this morning. But don't worry, it's Friday. That's good news. But we also have some warmer, great weather in store as we head into the weekend. So hopefully that gets a little extra pep in your step, aside from the chill that's going to give you that extra pep in the step here early this morning. We've got gorgeous conditions in store for today. Right now, we're at 45 degrees at Phoenix Sky Harbor. We'll be climbing into the 50s by 9 to 10 a.m., then 60s by lunchtime. Today, look for a high of 72 degrees in Phoenix. So the 70s are back after a couple of cooler days in the 60s. We'll see a few high clouds drift in this evening, otherwise mostly clear conditions. Then this weekend, more 70s, but some changes as we track a storm system that's going to move through our state tomorrow. It's going to bring more winds and essentially we'll go from the mid 70s on Saturday down to the low 70s on Sunday. No valley rain chances, but we'll talk about whether we're going to see any high country snow with this one in that full forecast. For now, though, saying good morning to our Chelsea Davis, who's been busy watching our Friday morning drive.
Hey, good morning, Iris. Yes, it's definitely been busy. Some of the crashes that we've had this morning already cleared, so that's some good news, but our traffic alert remains with that deadly crash in Scottsdale involving a motorcyclist and several vehicles. So if you travel northbound on Loop 101, you're going to see the closure between McDowell and Thomas, and the brakes are back to Loop 202 Red Mountain at this point, and even on the 101 as you're traveling north, trying to get closer to Loop 202 Red Mountain, seeing some brakes there as well. As you can see with this ADOT cameras I'm putting on the accident log group traffic maps here, you won't be able to travel in those northbound lanes. Although there is an alternate route in place or a detour in place, you might want to consider these as options too, to go northbound on Hayden or Scottsdale, reconnect on the 101 at Indian School, or even use the 51 to get by. The rest of your commute looks pretty good from the East Valley to the West Valley, North Valley, all green flows there, and desert drive times are below average for this time of day, but I'll check back in with you and give you another update soon.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Happening today, President Joe Biden will announce a global vaccine plan. The White House says the president will announce the United States will offer $4 billion to help to get the world vaccinated. He will make this case during a G7 meeting today, $2 billion this year with an additional billion next year and in 2023. The president will also ask other countries for funding. The White House wants up to $15 billion to come from international donors.
Well, vaccine shipments are being delayed across the country because of the severe weather, but will Arizona run out of its supply? The dashboard shows nearly 1.4 million doses ordered. And if you look at the doses administered, that's a difference of about 55,000. The state telling our news partner KTAR, we won't run out of vaccines before this weekend because the dashboard doesn't represent the state's actual total. This is because some sites receive their shipment directly from the federal government. It also counts Pfizer vaccines as having 5 doses per vial when some have 6. And new this morning, the first pregnant women are now included in vaccine trials. About 4,000 expectant moms are part of the Pfizer trial. They're going to receive their dose or the placebo between 24 and 34 weeks. And Pfizer will monitor the women and their babies until they turn 6 months old. The company also plans to start trials for kids ages 5 to 11.
We're getting a better idea of how the pandemic is impacting student learning. Districts across the state are seeing a rising number of F grades in the first semester of the school year. We spoke to one Valley mom whose two high schoolers are struggling in different ways. They've gone from A's and B's to D's and F's, feeling crushed by the mounting pressure to catch up.
It's taken a toll on them, not only with their grades. Their grades have really dropped, and they're struggling to pass classes at this point, but also on their mental health.
Well, tonight at 6, ABC 15's Daniel Lerner is digging deeper into the data, giving a snapshot of what several Valley districts are seeing, asking what's fueling the trend and what's being done to help students rebound. The last several administrations all promised to work on comprehensive immigration reform. Their efforts primarily stalled. This morning, another push for that reform. Mark Thompson is live right now looking at an immigration bill just unveiled on Capitol Hill. So break it down for us, Mark. What does it mean?
Yeah, good morning, Nick. Well, each election cycle, polls show that immigration reform is a top issue for Arizona voters. And given the fact that we are a border state, it could affect us more than a lot of other states. Now, as far as this new legislation, Democrats introduced the legislation Thursday, and now all lawmakers, they will get a chance to begin seeing what is inside of it. Some of the highlights include an 8-year path to citizenship for migrants who arrived in the United States by January 1st, a quicker path to citizenship for farm workers, and replace the word alien with non-citizen in the law, and increase funding at the border. Now, as these issues of border security, they are expected to be heavily debated between Democrats and Republicans. President Biden, he hinted this week that if one sweeping bill won't be agreed upon, that this could be split into two smaller pieces.
If you had a refugee bill by itself, I'm not suggesting that, but there's things that I would deal by itself, but not at the expense of saying I'm never going to do the other. There is a reasonable path to citizenship.
And this measure still has a long way to go. It would need at least 10 Republicans on board to defeat a Senate filibuster and then take it to a final vote. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. 6:06, Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema chairing a new Senate subcommittee, and this post could take on greater importance as the president and Congress push for that immigration reform. The subcommittee is part of Homeland Security, focusing on government operations and also border management. Senator Sinema says her goal is to ensure smart and effective border security.
Well, excuse me, this morning, a dozen states have declared emergencies because of winter weather. The state of Texas dealing with an absolute crisis. 7 million people there are without clean water. Several cities remain under boil water advisories, and some people who don't have any access to water have begun to boil snow.
What we've been doing all day is actually coming outside, getting snow, putting it in our pots, and heating it on our propane grill.
Some hospitals are also being affected. They've lost heat because water feeds the boilers. Today, some much needed supplies from right here in the Valley will be delivered to Texas. Chicanos por la Causa holding a donation drive Thursday to help out those impacted by the winter storms. And even though they only had half a day to collect the donations, the community stepping up in a huge way.
So here we have about 14 locations in South Texas that have been severely affected. Staff is running out of food. There's no electricity, there's no running water. So we're really just coming together to see how we can support them. We couldn't mail anything, we couldn't ship anything, so the only way to get them the supplies that they need is to actually just drive it there, which we'll be doing.
So if you would still like to help out, you can. You can donate money online to cplc.org. Just head over to that website and you'll be able to donate there. Now, the weather has canceled blood drives across the country. The American Red Cross asking everyone to consider giving blood. For more information, you can head to redcrossblood.org. And our local Red Cross chapter sending volunteers to Texas. We're going to talk with the organization more about these efforts coming up at 6:45.
Well, some breaking news from Buckingham Palace this morning. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle will not return to royal duties. This means Harry will also give up his military titles. The Duke and Duchess stepping away from full-time royal life last year. The couple lives in California and recently announced they're expecting their second child, and they're also going to be sitting down for that exclusive interview with Oprah in the coming weeks. 6:09, next on ABC 15 Mornings, a vaccine passport. In the future, you may need digital documentation to board a plane.
Touchdown! Never before has a piece of another planet been brought back to Earth. But this morning, the first steps of history being made.
Well, time right now is 6:12. We've got a warm-up that starts today. So after a few days in the 60s, the 70s are coming back here this afternoon. It's going to be a little warmer today and through the weekend. But we're also tracking a disturbance this weekend that's going to bring some stronger winds on Saturday, a slight drop in temperatures on Sunday before a big warm-up that'll bring the 80s back by early next week. So let's talk about what to expect as you head out the door. We do have some colder neighborhoods this morning that are down into the 30s. Quite a few of them, in fact. Gilbert down to 37 degrees here at this hour. It's 39 in the Santan Valley and down to 36 in Chandler. Maricopa also in the 30s at 37 degrees. Buckeye, you're checking in at 39 and it's down to 35. Now in Wickenburg and Peoria, you've cooled into the 30s here too as of the top of the hour. You're at 39 degrees. Otherwise, it's 40 in Glendale, 44 in Deer Valley, and 45 in Scottsdale. Phoenix Sky Harbor also at 45 degrees. I think we'll go a little bit lower here by that 7 o'clock hour as we approach sunrise, and then we'll start our warm-up. But you'll probably need that sweater as you step outside. Maybe dressing in layers will be a good idea this morning. And of course, in northern Arizona, much colder, so you'll need those heavier coats still, with temperatures in the teens to 20s now along the Mogollon Rim. Winslow checking in at 19 degrees, Flagstaff at 20, and Show Low at 18 degrees. But Window Rock, just 5 degrees here at this hour. That's one of the colder spots right now in our state. Globe, you're waking up to 38 degrees. We're starting the day with mostly clear skies, and we're going to keep mostly clear skies around through much of the day. As I put Futurecast into motion, you're going to see that by this evening, a few high clouds begin to move in, but they're not going to bring us any rain or anything. But as they move in, they may give us some pretty color in the sky, so be on the lookout for that here as we head into sunset. Again, looking for some high clouds to drift in just in time for that. And then tomorrow, a few more high clouds moving in, but as you can see, no rain or much snow as we track a disturbance. It's essentially going to track across northern Arizona. It'll bring a chance for a few flurries to spots right around the Utah border, including Page and up near Window Rock near the Four Corners. But outside of that, the rest of the state, including areas along the Mogollon Rim, looking dry tomorrow. Just breezy to windy across the state as that disturbance moves in. Today, a high of 72 in Phoenix will make it to 62 in Kingman, 70 for Lake Havasu, and 51 in Flagstaff, with highs in the 40s today in Window Rock, but up to 50 in Show Low. Across the valley, near normal high temperatures, with highs in the low 70s in most spots, the exception being Cape Creek, Anthem, and Wickenburg, where we're going to top out in the upper 60s today. Now, winds today look light, and here's that hour-by-hour breakdown. We'll be back to 60 degrees by 11 a.m., then low 70s by about 3 to 4 o'clock. That's when we'll see our high temperature. Then tomorrow, those winds get stronger, with gusts as high as about 25 miles an hour and a high of 76. I mentioned it'll be a little warmer Saturday, then a little cooler on Sunday behind that storm, but no rain, and again, not much snow either. But next week, temperatures are going to go higher as high pressure builds in. We're talking a high of 80 degrees by Tuesday. Luckily, the 80s not going to last long. We'll be back into the low 70s by Thursday.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
All right, thanks so much, Iris. Chelsea here. I want to show you some images. We actually have team coverage right now of that deadly crash, Loop 101 in the northbound direction. So this traffic alert started around 4:30 this morning, and we are seeing that closure in the Scottsdale area of Loop 101 northbound between McDowell and Thomas at this point. A motorcyclist involved, several other vehicles involved. Troopers are still out there on scene investigating, and we don't have additional information at this point, and we don't know when it's going to be back open. So let's go ahead and look at our accident law group traffic maps and see what it looks like from this vantage point. This is just north of the interchange of Loop 202 Red Mountain, and we're seeing brakes on the 101 almost all the way back to US 60, traveling less than 20 miles per hour, and in some cases less than 5 miles per hour as you're getting closer to the detour. So if you need to get by, you're obviously going to see that those main lanes are open of the freeway because no one's allowed on there at this point, so you're going to want to hop off the freeway, or you can use the surface streets like Hayden or Scottsdale and travel northbound on those, connect back onto Loop 101 near Indian School. That's just north of where the crash is, or you can use the 51 if you're traveling up to the North Valley. So we'll keep you posted on what we find and what we hear. East Valley overall, we're looking at green conditions, same from the west side of town, minor breaks on I-10 as you approach I-17, same with I-17 around the Durango curve. North Valley, clear and quiet. We do have a crash icon that popped up, but have no fear, it's not on the main lanes of I-17. It's actually at 27th Avenue in Deer Valley. Just giving you a heads up because that's really close to where you would enter I-17 on Deer Valley. So if you see any delays there, you can always hop up, use Pinnacle Peak or a different entrance ramp.
All right, Chelsea, thank you. Certainly a lot going on the roads this morning. Thanks for keeping us updated. Here this morning, Consumer Reports is out with its list of the best cars for 2021. The ranking is based on reliability data, customer satisfaction, testing, and sustainability. And they break down by categories like best car under $25,000 or best small SUV. Some of the honorees include the Toyota Corolla, Camry, and Prius, the Tesla Model 3. Consumer Reports named Mazda as the best brand overall because of its price and variety.
Well, are you hoping to travel this year with more COVID testing and vaccines? Some are already making plans for a few months ahead. But how will travel look in the future? All new this morning, the Rebound Arizona and the Let Joe Know team are talking about a different kind of passport and what you may expect at the airport.
In the airport parking lots, having rapid testing sites so that you can show up, get tested.
Scott Keys with Scott's Cheap Flights is talking about the future of travel. Maybe.
Get your results in 15 minutes and be able to continue on your way.
Right now, different countries have different test and quarantine requirements. Coming to the U.S., a negative COVID test is required. While there's been discussion of negative tests for domestic travel, it's been ruled out for now. Keys thinks for many countries, the game changer is the vaccine.
Yes, we're going to allow folks who have been vaccinated to bypass the normal requirements, whether they be testing or quarantine.
While U.S. tourists are still prevented from traveling to most European countries, Iceland, Cyprus, and Poland are now allowing some countries in with proof of vaccines. And how do you show that proof?
A vaccine passport.
Something that would show you had a vaccine. The International Air Transport Association, or IATA, is developing one called a Travel Pass. It's a phone app allowing you to see a country's COVID requirements and to store and share test results and vaccine information. IBM's Health Pass goes further. It talks about also being used for large-scale events, such as a game, concert, or amusement park. The country of Bahrain already developed one. Denmark, Sweden, and other countries are talking about it.
The vaccine passports could also be available on paper. There is some pushback, some calling them unfair to countries who have to wait for the vaccine, that negative tests should be enough. Go to abc15.com/letjoeknow for more on these vaccine passports. I'm investigator Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life.
The sounds of success, NASA's Perseverance rover now on Mars. It's even sent out its first photos. Percy, as the rover is called, will study the planet's climate and geology, looking for any signs of ancient life.
And the group behind this history-making Mars landing was one of NASA's most diverse. Many of the engineers guiding Percy in its landing were women and people of color. How cool is that? You know, everyone was a little nervous through those 7 minutes of terror, but as you can see, all's well that ends well, right? Those hands up, cheering. Wow, way to go, guys.
There you go, Percy getting the job done. Nursing the country back to some sense of normalcy. More people are rebounding and choosing to put on scrubs.
Testing our students only on ABC15 Mornings, an in-depth look at how the state wants to go forward with the Arizona Merit Test.
Watch ABC15 Arizona on your schedule. Stream the latest news and weather by searching ABC15 on Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV.
624, the pandemic has served as a calling for many people who want to try to help others. In the past year, more than 250,000 Americans have enrolled in nursing programs.
I'm not afraid of it. You know, I think some people are afraid of it. I definitely am not one of those people. In fact, I kind of see it as a challenge that I want to be a part of.
When the pandemic started, especially when it got really bad in New York City, I was like, I wish I could go and help.
Across the country, enrollment in nursing programs is up 6%, according to an annual survey by the American Association of Colleges of Nursing.
So it's been really an unexpected boom.
When there's a crisis, nurses are always there.
With this pandemic, it's that extra urge to say, this is the time.
The nation facing an ongoing nursing shortage. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimating we will need more than 200,000 new nurses every year to fill openings.
If you have any inclination to do it, just go for it, because we really need nurses out there these days.
In the years to come, education leaders expect COVID-19 to continue to be a driving factor for enrollment. One of the good things to come from a pandemic that has killed more than 480,000 Americans.
People are stepping up in ways that we never would have imagined.
And that was Kaylee O'Kelly reporting there are about 3 million registered nurses here in the U.S. The Bureau of Labor Statistics expects employment to grow up to 7% over the next decade.
Well, happening this weekend, a celebration for the first ever female Eagle Scouts. More than a dozen are from Arizona. Now, you may remember back in 2019, the Boy Scouts of America opened the door for girls to rise to the rank of Eagle Scout, which is the highest honor. We spoke with Savannah Hafer from Prescott, who tells us she was thrilled to take on the challenge, and she's proud to be among the first females.
I was always told you're not allowed to, and then it opened up, and I was like, you know what? Yes, I am. I am allowed to be here. I belong here, and I can keep up. I can do everything that you can do.
Yeah, look out for Savannah. We like that attitude, right? The ceremony will be streamed online Sunday now. So proud of all those young ladies.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job. In the classiest way ever, if you didn't already love her, country music legend Dolly Parton is turning down a statue in her honor. The singer asked state lawmakers in Tennessee to remove a new bill to put a statue on the Capitol grounds of her.
Yeah, so Parton says she's honored, but given all that's going on in the world right now, it's not the time to put her on a pedestal. She did say she hopes to continue to make Tennessee proud. I think this makes everyone in Tennessee even prouder, right? And I think the country just happy we have Dolly Parton here.
I was gonna say, I think all of America just fell in love with Dolly Parton that much more.
Yeah.
Well, how much learning loss has happened over the past year? New this morning, we'll soon find out, but there are lingering questions about how Arizona students will safely take standardized tests.
And the president and Democrats pushing for immigration reform to make it easier to become a United States citizen. But do they have the votes? I'll break it all down coming up.